Hey guys! Guess what? We're having a special edition of Literally Book today because we're having a Malec party. Yes! Okay, I feel better now. Now we can talk about Malec, the actual episode of Shadowhunters that aired last week. Episode 12, we're only one episode away from the season finale. And I gotta say, guys, this is my favorite episode. I mean, was there any doubt this would be my favorite episode? Because if there was, then I'm clearing it up. It was my favorite episode. But if you've seen my previous videos and you know how much I love Malec, you probably know that the episode titled Malec was my favorite episode. What can I say about this episode? There's so much stuff that is good about it. Number one, we start off with preparations to the wedding. Izzy's being super cool. She's like super excited that they're having a wedding at the Institute, which makes me think about Isabel in a different way. Like maybe her character, this is what she wants, even though she's so... a wedding is so not her character. Maybe she's like excited about this because this is what she actually wants. She wants a long-time relationship, which, spoiler alert if you haven't read the books, she gets eventually. I'm not gonna say with who because you have to read them. But maybe this is what she wants. Maybe this is her way of expressing that she's super excited about planning this wedding because she wants to plan her own wedding. But since she can't right now because she doesn't have a partner, she's planning her brother's wedding with just as much enthusiasm as if she were planning her own wedding. So we start with Isabel planning the wedding. She tells Alex she's gonna throw him a bachelor party. He's not excited about that. Jace is completely not involved in this wedding. He's like super mad still with Alec, and Alex still super mad with him, and they're not talking. But instead of that, we get an emotional bonding moment between Clary and Alec, which is great because they are actually my bro TP. I think they're super bros, and I really enjoy Clary interacting with Alec in the books and in the series as well. So they have this moment where they thank each other for each other's help, and Alec kind of clarifies that he hasn't really been blaming her for all that's happened. He's actually mad at Jace, and he realizes that it's not her fault that Jace is acting this way, which is sort of true. But it was really nice that they finally got to see eye to eye. Finally. So right when Alec is talking with Clary about apologizing to her and all that stuff, he gets a call or a text message. And guess who it's from? It's from Magnus. So he goes to visit him and ask him what's up because he thinks that Magnus has important information about how to wake up Jocelyn. But it's not that at all. Magnus called him over so they can finish their conversation from the previous episode. And a lot of people thought this is where the kiss would happen, like these were the theories before, but I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be that because Alec was really not in that mood at that moment. He was kind of annoyed. Magnus was coming on strong because he wanted Alec to make a decision, but Alec is not ready to make a decision, and he says all these hurtful things to Magnus that he doesn't know. He only flirts, and he never has real feelings. Because he doesn't know about Magnus. Like, this is a big problem in the book. It's that Alec wants to know more about Magnus's past, and Magnus doesn't want to tell him about the past because the past is the past, and Alec is very jealous in the books. So I think that crossed over well here, that Alec really doesn't know that much about Magnus. They don't know each other that well, or at least he doesn't know Magnus that well. And Magnus has been through a lot. He knows feelings probably better than anyone else because he's been in a lot of relationships throughout his very long lifetime, and some of them have been really good and have ended badly, like his relationship with Camille, which we later get to know a little more about. But yeah, Alec leaves. He turns around when Magnus gives him the ultimatum, but Magnus is gone, so he just leaves. And the next day, Magnus is at the Institute talking about Ragnar Fell. Which, by the way, did you see that cameo by Tessa, because she was on that thing along with Katarina. So yeah, cameos. So they decide they need to go visit Ragnar Fell, which is another warlock that is Magnus's best friend. He's living in Europe, and they're gonna go find him because he's the one that put the spell on Jocelyn. So they go to visit Ragnar. There's like this whole Harry Potter-ish scene where he's hiding inside a painting, kind of like Slughorn. He reminds me of Slughorn from Harry Potter. I never make this connection in the books, probably because it doesn't happen the same way, but that's what I thought of. Like when Harry goes to Slughorn's house with Dumbledore to find him, that's what it was like to me, the pulling out of the painting and all that. Anyway, Ragnar agrees to help them, but he needs the Book of the White, which if you've read the books, you know is actually a very important plot piece. I don't know how it's gonna play into the show, but I do recognize the Book of White. Ragnar goes upstairs to look for this book, and he gets attacked by a demon and gets killed. Killed! He was on screen for 3 seconds. And I was really liking him. I like Ragnar in the books, and I wanted to see him more in the show, and he was great, and kill him off. He's not in the show for like a minute. That made me really sad. But what made me sadder was Magnus's reaction to his death. He's losing like one of his best friends. Like Ragnar and him have been through a lot together. So it really did make me sad for Ragnar. Anyway, we return to the Institute. Clary and Jace are still feeling a little bit weird about this brother and sister thing, and they're kind of avoiding the whole thing. And the wedding is happening. Jace thinks that the mole is Lydia because she was the one there listening to the conversation. But as I've predicted before, and if you've read the books, you already know it's not Lydia. Anyway, we skip to the wedding, my favorite part of this. While the wedding is happening, Magnus is seeing visions of Ragnar talking to him about this wedding, about his feelings, about how he shouldn't let someone that he's finally falling in love with go. And this makes Magnus realize, hey, I really need to go there. I need to be at this wedding. Izzy had invited him, so he goes there. Oh my god, I completely forgot about the bachelor party. I skipped through that. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the bachelor party, what happens? Isabel takes Alec to this room. She had kind of asked Simon for advice on what to do for a bachelor party, and Simon's like strippers, and she's like, Alec's not gonna like strippers. So instead she like takes him into her room, blindfolds him, and in comes Jace. And at first they're hesitant, but eventually they have the heart-to-heart conversation that they've needed to have since that whole thing happened in episode 9. So they kind of apologize to each other. Alec jokes around with the brother and sister thing, and Jace is like, no, I really feel uncomfortable with this because I want Clary and she's my sister. And Alec's like, no, I get you. I want someone that I can have too. And Jace is like, no, but you can be happy, Alec. You can do this. It's your decision. And I think that helps Alec realize this just as much as Ragnar talking to Magnus helps him realize, like, hey, you guys need to come together and have this final decision-making moment. And that's exactly what happens. Just when Lydia is putting the rune on Alec at the wedding, Magnus walks in. And everyone's like, what is he doing here? Jace is panicking, like, did you invite him? And he's just like, I invited him. And Jace is like, are you okay, buddy? Talking to Alec. And Alec's like, I can't breathe. Which was so cute, because that's exactly what Magnus was talking about, like love feeling, like you can't breathe when that person is there. And he's feeling that as Magnus is walking into this wedding. Okay, so Magnus walks in, he's walking towards Alec. Alec can breathe, and he's like, I'm sorry, Lydia, I can't do this. He steps off, he walks to Magnus, his mom gets in the way, and he's like, enough, mom. And he just goes straight for Magnus and kisses him. And it is the most glorious, beautiful moment in the world. I've been waiting for it for so long, and it was so beautiful, and I can't wait to see more. Oh God, please let me see more. It was great, guys. It was so good. I'm so happy. It's probably playing up here right now, and I love it. I've watched it like a million times. So yeah, we finally get that Malec kiss, and it's like better than I ever imagined. It kind of reminds me like of that scene where Alec and Magnus kiss in front of the whole of Idris when they go to Idris. I think it's in City of Glass. Pretty sure it's City of Glass. But it reminded me of that scene. Not exactly as it happens in the books, like their first kiss, but yes, it was kind of like that, the equivalent of that scene. Obviously, Mom and Dad are not very happy, and they confront Alec at the end of the episode. The mom is like, Maris is completely crazy. She does not accept it, and Robert like was a little bit more accepting, which is weird because in the books that the roles are reversed. The dad's the really angry one about this, the really upset one, because he's very straight-laced and very strict, and he has reasons for feeling that way, which you'll find out if you read the books. But the dad in Robert here in the show is more understanding, and Alec and Magnus kind of talk, and he's like, hey, let's take it slow. Let's go on this date that you still owe me. And Alec is smiling, and he's like, yes, we'll go on that date. He was smiling so much at the end of this episode. Like, I'm so happy that Alec is finally happy. Anyway, at the end of the episode, we have Lydia going into her room, taking the cup. She's going back to Idris like she said she would, but she gets attacked by this invisible person who takes the cup. And at the end of the episode, we find out it's Hodge. He comes to stay with Jocelyn as Luke goes to bed, and he calls Valentine. Now, if you've read the books, this doesn't come as a surprise. Hodge has always been the mole in the Institute, so it wasn't a surprise for me, but I'm glad that they kept this twist in because I really liked it in the books, and I think it works here as well. And those are my thoughts for this episode. I can't wait to see the season finale next week. I know Malec's not gonna be smooth sailing from here, but that's it for episode 12, and I will see you guys next week for episode